Okay, excellent. So again, welcome everyone. For those of you who are not here yesterday, my name is Daniel Garcia. I'm the manager, graduate program administration here at the Creative School, and we're here for the day 2 of the graduate student orientation 2025. And all right, so we have a lot of stuff for you today. So I'll get moving along, and so we'll start again with the land acknowledgement. Mohammad, if you don't mind just going to the next slide, that'll be great. And as I mentioned, usually the important thing about land acknowledgement is ability to know a little bit of the history of the land and the place where we are, the university in Toronto. This is the TMU land acknowledgement, but there's obviously, depending where you are, maybe different versions of it. I'm just gonna read this one for you. We're speaking to you from Toronto, Toronto. This city is located in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. And again, I'll invite you, there's a couple links in there you can visit and learn more about why we do the land acknowledgement and why it's important and why, we share the land. And obviously, everybody comes from different parts of Canada, I believe, and different parts of the world in here. We're up to 350 graduate students in our faculty. So lots of people from different places. So it's always good to share and be respectful with one another. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right, so today's goal is to basically want to introduce you to so you get to meet the administration team. So there's a team that you're going to be working with throughout your academic career. We all work together as a team, but we all have different tasks and different areas that we sort of specialize on. Although we can pretty much answer almost any question, hopefully. We are also your first point of contact. So in this world of university with lots of different things and lots of different resources, and when you have no idea where to go, just send us an email. That's the easiest thing to do. We'll try to answer your questions. We'll try to guide you in and find the answers if we don't have the answer ourselves. Usually the easiest way to do this is using the program email address. And the reason we do that is because we have 11 graduate programs that we manage. And so as you can imagine, there's a lot of emails everywhere. And so there's only 6 of us, as you can see. And so if you're able to email us directly to the program email address, we can sort of triage and centralize everything. In case someone's away or on vacations or different things like that throughout the year, that's what we always use the program email address as our sort of central hub. And then we're able to answer your requests or your questions as soon as possible. But again, you'll get to know everybody in the team. I won't go individually right now, but you get to know everybody in the team over the next it's a couple hours today. Next slide, please. I want to just point out a couple of things. So it was mentioned yesterday a little bit. You are part of basically 2 faculties when you're here at the Creative School. So the Creative School is our faculty that houses our programs, and that's where our different schools are attached to. So for example, we have, I think, 9 different schools. The School of Image Arts, RTA, School of Media, Interior Design, Fashion, Journalism, and so on. And then at the same time, you're also attached to the Yates School of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies faculty, which is sort of like the overall faculty that manages anything to do with graduate studies. And so the main point I want to just point out for you guys is the Yates School of Graduate Studies and Proctoral Studies, their website contains a lot of the main policy information. So a lot of the sort of the overall dates, financial matters, funding, scholarships, significant dates, those kinds of things are always posted on that website, and that's kind of like the main hub where like the official information comes from. Throughout the presentation today, we'll show you a couple different areas and links, and based on yesterday, if you remember, there's a whole bunch of different links and stuff like that. But if you want to sort of see the source for grad studies specifically, you might want to make sure you visit the grad studies website. And again, all of these are links that you can click later on when we share the presentation. And again, I won't go through individually, but I just wanted to point that out for you guys. Next slide, please. On the other hand, your program website, so this is specifically your, fashion MA program or interior design or, the PhD program and so on, those websites has information about the specifics of your program. So that's what we basically what we try to summarize the information that we have from the from grad studies website, put it together in a condensed version for you guys, so you're able to then visit there and hopefully get answers to most of your questions in one place. These are things like curriculum. We usually try to give you sort of like an overview of the curriculum for the whole year, so you can see more or less which course you're going to be taking when, at least for how many courses you're going to be taking rather. If you want to learn about your faculty, if you want to figure out who your supervisor should be, faculty profiles are usually attached to the program websites. And then we also have a student resources page, which Mohammad will talk about later, and he'll show you all the different sort of links or quick links, I guess, that we put together for you guys. And then we're also going to see things like progress reviews, all the different forms and all their academic forms that you will use more often. They're all for you guys on that student resources page. But again, the main thing is the grad studies website is kind of the overall encompassing everything. And then your program website has the main information for you specifically to basically just do your program. So make sure that if you haven't already, make sure that you take a look and review that. And again, we'll go with you guys through some of these things in a little bit. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to start introducing you to the team, so and they'll tell you a little bit about what they do and sort of the different components and different tips as you are getting into the program. First one is Elaine. She's our graduate program administrator, and you've probably spoken with her. She deals a lot with admissions. So Elaine, floor is all yours.
Thank you, Danielle. Hello, I'm Elaine, one of the graduate program administrators. You probably already know my name by now, if you haven't already. So I look forward to meet you in person next week in the social. So I'm going to talk about a couple of admissions reminders and some tuition fee information. But before that, I want to say a good congratulations to all of you. Congratulations on your offer admission to the program. Getting into a graduate program is not only by meeting a minimum admission requirements, but by competition. So a big congratulations again. All right, so Mohammad, please, next one. Okay, so if you joined the onboarding session back then or read my email, then those information are repetitive. For some of you, if you know the information, just bear with me. But for most of you, or some of you just receive offer late, those information are very important. So I want to talk about conditions. If you have conditions, you can check that details on your offer letter. Offer letter is found under the communications in the student center in my service hub. Common conditions are transcripts or English language proficiency score. How to follow up with your conditions. For transcripts, for example, there are two ways. You can either request a e-transcripts that is sent directly from the institution that you graduated to graduate admissions. The email is gradapplicants@torontomu.ca. By the way, Danielle mentioned the slides will be shared with you, so you don't need to take notes. And we have recording as well you can also refer to. So official e-transcripts is a great option if your institution provides that option. So it's faster, it's convenient. If that's not an option, you can always request a physical hard copy, send it directly from the institution. And so the graduate admissions address, you can find that information in the link if accepted. Be sure to include graduate admissions office. So when the TMU gets that mail, they can redirect to graduate admissions office. And the second condition is the English language proficiency. For example, if you get the offer admitted into the program, accepted, if you retook the test or take the test of the TOEFL or PET, you can follow up with graduate admissions with the email here with your student ID and the date you took a test, so they can double check the information on their end. The link here has more way detailed information, so feel free to check out. And next slide, please. So if you done all those, and how you're gonna follow up? So it depending on when and how long it takes for an institution to send e-transcripts or mail version, you can follow up with them first. Graduate missions, they process conditions on a weekly basis. Once they done that, they will communicate with you by email notification. And so you will receive an email, a notification, then you can go to your My Service Hub, Student Center, check communication section. There will be a letter post there. Either you get a condition clear, which means your condition is clear, transcripts received, everything is in order. But if you have pending conditions, they will say condition not clear or anything, you need to follow up with graduate missions. So that way, follow up with graduate missions with the email grad applicants. That's the best way to follow up with them. If you have any questions when you request a follow-up with your conditions, always reach out to graduate mission at grad applicants, that email address. Okay, next one, please. Okay, those are the reminders. Again, if you can recall the welcome package email I sent to you, those are the information there. If you clear your conditions, paid your deposit, and you are matriculated by graduate missions, which is sometime last week. They started mass matriculation for all the graduate students. But if you just clear your condition, they will matriculate you on a daily basis sometime after 2 p.m. So if that's the case, you can go ahead to my Toronto mu.ca, which is always also the My Service Hub. Log into there. So the portal will prompt to ask you to create a username and a password. And so you can begin that process. And then follow up that, you can begin to obtain your email, which is create a TMU email. So once you have that done, communications will be sent to your TMU email address. So be sure to check that email address daily. Very important from September, if you have a TMU email address, we will only begin to communicate with you with your TMU email. So make sure you check that email address daily, especially at the beginning of the term. Follow the email, you can get your one card. So I saw some emails coming in today about those questions. So here I'm answering your questions. You can follow up with one card. Go to the one card website and to apply for your one card. This is a major. This is your only access to the TMU buildings, major buildings. And depending on which program that you are coming in, there are certain labs attached to that program, and then you will have access to those labs. We highly, strongly recommend you to get your student one card starting next week, Monday, August 25th, 9 to 4, in Napoleon 56. So you can pick up your card, but which you need to apply online before. So you can get it before September 2nd, your first day of class. So make sure you have access. Next slide, please. Danielle mentioned about significant dates earlier from the Yale School website. Here I want to take a closer look with you to break it down so you understand some important critical dates. I know we are going to start the September in the next 2 weeks. So why not plan for a Christmas break if you have plans already or you have any family commitment? Why not? So first day of class, September 2nd. If we look at the bottom, the last day is December 1st. So you will finish your last day of class December 1st if you have class on that day. If you don't, then maybe a little bit early. From December 1st, December 14th, that 2 weeks period, that's examination weeks. For most graduate programs, you don't have final exams. So you can double check that when you attend your first day class with your professors. You will have a course outline or syllabus, some sort. And then you can double confirm with them. I'm pretty sure you don't have a final exam. Also check with them if there's any assignments that are due after December 1st before December 14, projects, any sort like that. If you don't, congratulations, you're done December 1st. So if you look at the winter 2026, your first day of class starts January 9. So before January 9, after December 4, that's your time. So you can plan ahead anything that you are applying for. Um, I also want to look at some critical dates. For example, September 12. And that's a day that if you withdraw from the program with 100% refund. I hope you will never use that date, but it's important to take a note of it. For October 3rd, that's the last day to withdraw with a 50% refund. November 14 will be the last day to withdraw with a good academic standing, but no refund. There are some other days in winter, spring, summer, so I'm not going to read out loud, so you can read out loud. And then there are dates later will be updated by Yale School later on for spring, summer 2026. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat a tuition fees. If you are joining my earlier onboarding session, this is the information from there. So bear with me if you already know the information. If you want to learn more about your tuition fee, how it's billed, and what kind of tuition fee you are gonna pay, depending your status, domestic out of province, or international, this is the place, the link, you can go check out your tuition fee and learn more about what is included in the tuition fee, the fees, what kind of services or programming that you paid for. So great resources there. Next one. Thank you. So I received some emails say, how come my tuition fee is not posted under my student center? Good question. So only when you are after you matriculated, when you are enrolled in a class, which later my coworker will tell you more about the enrollment. So your tuition fee will be posted in your student center. So depending on when you are gonna enroll, so enrollment sometimes this week, next week. So my coworker will talk about more. Your tuition fee are billed by 3 installments for 1 academic year. You only need to pay your tuition fee in each term. For the fall, only for the fall term. Payments are due in the first month, which is September. We do have a late fee that applies on the 3rd business day of next month, which is October. So make sure that you pay your tuition fee a little bit early, depending on what methods you are gonna pay, whether it's from online or going to the bank physically. So leave that time, not leave the last until last day. So every student receives some sort of funding and scholarship. You can refer to your offer letter or the email that we confirm with you for details of your funding or scholarship. So funding scholarship are paid in 3 equal installments, usually on the 3rd week to your student center in each month, which is the 3rd week of September. All the scholarship require full-time enrollment to have in order to receive the funding. How to pay the remaining tuition fee if you receive funding, you paid your deposit. I'm going to dive in a little bit more in the next slide. Next one, please. All right. How much do I get? Do I have to pay? So we have 2 scenarios here, depending on what how much the scholarship or funding you receive. Everyone, if you are matriculated, you pay the deposit, either 500 or 2,000 or 1,000, depending on your status. Here, example. So look at your tuition fee for the 4th term, which is the link that we showed earlier. Let's say, for example, it's 4,100. If you are domestic, paid 500 tuition deposit, minus that. And if you receive a $3,000 TMGF funding, then you will have 1,000 post to your student center, sometimes 3rd week of September. Then if you do a calculation, it will be around 2,600. So that's the balance you have to pay. So you can go ahead to make a tuition payment for that amount, and then you can check out the reflection once you make a payment in your account. Then we have another scenario. If you receive a little bit higher funding, for example, OGS, Ontario Graduate Scholarship, that is a 15,000 one academic year. So which means you will receive 5,000 installments in the fall. Then which means you're gonna have a 1,300 credit in your account. So the credit means that's actual funds there. Since you're gonna receive 5,000 in the winter, spring, summer, and then your tuition fee amount is there, you know you're gonna have actual credit, so you can go ahead to request a refund to your bank account. So the refund process is also on the tuition fee website we showed you earlier. You will have that information later on as well. Okay, so I think that's all. Obviously reach out. I saw some emails, but I will get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. That's great. And yeah, we've been answering some questions in the chat just so everybody knows. If in case you have any more questions, feel free to put them in there. Between all of us, we'll answer your questions in there. So yeah, our next member is Tonisha Boyd, another program administrator. Tonisha, floor is all yours.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad that I'm here with all of you. I'm so excited to be here, actually. And I just want to let you know that I might be shifting my gaze to a bigger monitor because for visual reasons, because the pop-up with the questions is blocking my view a little bit on my laptop. So I apologize if you see me go up and down. I'm just, accommodating myself. So as Daniel said, I'm a graduate program administrator with the team. And he mentioned that we have a collaborative framework in which we serve and support you students. And I do a lot of back-end administrative things that are very important to student administration, but there's a few important touch points that I have with all of you, and I'll take a few moments to discuss how I support you and what areas I focus on. Next slide. So the ways that I support all of you is mainly through disseminating information and administering awards and funding. So through the admissions process, you were able to receive either a Toronto Met Graduate Fellowship, TMGF, or Toronto Met Graduate Development Award, TMGDA, or Ontario Graduate Fellowship Award, which is valued at $12,000. The other two previously mentioned awards range from $2,000 to $7,000, and the Ontario Graduate Fellowship was based on a ranking process, and usually it's one per program depending on budget. So that information was either sent to you by way of your offer of admission or perhaps with the Ontario Graduate Fellowship sometime thereafter. There's internal awards that internal program specific awards that I communicate to you about. So I send that through emails by way of the program emails. Not every program has a program specific award. And the programs that do have program-specific awards do not offer them every term, but I will keep you abreast of the information and on top of the information around when to apply, the purpose of the award values, and I'll be pushing you to apply on Award Spring. So I'll take a moment to plug the Award Spring presentation as part of our onboarding series that's happening on September 22nd from 1:15 p.m. to 2 p.m. Via Zoom. So you definitely want to make note of that and go on our onboarding websites to register, and they can give you all of the meat and potatoes that you need to know about the Award Spring database. But I will say that now that you are matriculated, now that you've likely activated your student IDs, you can take that information, your student credentials, and start the general application on Award Spring. So on there, you'll be filling out your profile, and you'll be giving information like your identity, your residency information, your financial information. And it's incredibly important for you to fill out this information as accurately as possible, as this information is used to pull and link you to awards that you are eligible for. So let's say you're filling out the application, you're like, I'll just do the financials a little later. You might miss out on an award that is based on financial need. So you want to make sure that you fill it out in its entirety, because often the questions that have come up throughout award cycles is that I can't see this award, and then we find out that you didn't fill out the financial information piece or something like that or whatever, and you're not linked to it. So you definitely want to keep that information up to date as your information changes. And of course, the award spring session will be happening later in September, and you'll find out more about how that database works and how it benefits you and links you to funding opportunities. Also, another key way that I support all of you is by being part of the administration process of the OGS and the SSHRC funding. So with the OGS competition, it already ran from January to April, then May onwards, the recipients were named. My role in that process, I calculate all of the averages of the individuals to determine academic eligibility for the OGS. So got that done and dusted, individuals were ranked, and then they were selected for OGS. Now, at this juncture, I take a look at the calculations again, and individuals who were actively in their last program of study during this academic 24-25 academic year and just finished their credential, I recalculate your average to see if you're eligible for the OGS, perhaps for the second year of a 2-year program. So individuals who are in 2-year programs who maybe just cleared their admission condition because they were in a program just finished this academic year. If you weren't eligible during the first OGS cycle, perhaps for your second year, you'll be eligible. So I'm doing that calculation process for that. And the calculation for SSHRC is similar, especially particularly for the master's students. So I will be identifying the individuals who are academically eligible for SSHRC in the next few weeks and passing that information along to the program directors. And as you see, the funding is different for the master's and doctoral, and there's different deadline dates and different eligibility requirements, although they're quite similar. So for the master's students, the deadline is December the 1st. So you'll know whether you're academically eligible well before that, and the program directors will be in conversation with you. And I'd hope that you'd reach out to Stacy in the Catalyst, our grants officer, to work on your SSHRC applications. For doctoral students, it's not only academics, but they look at a lot of other components as well. And the deadline for the doctoral students is October the 4th. So it's fast approaching. So doctoral students, you'll be hearing from your program director and my colleagues in YSGPS, specifically Natasha or even Gino, and that process will be explained to you. But I do encourage you to go to the hyperlinks when you receive the PDF of this presentation, to go to the website to take a look at the eligibility requirements, to remind yourselves of the deadline dates, but just know that I take care of the calculations for that and determine your eligibility. And I let your program directors know. So I'll get that done and dusted in the next few weeks. And then also another key website to bookmark to have on your browser forever is the financing your studies website, because there's like the provincial, federal, internal, external, international, and also if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's other external funding opportunities. So you want to take a look and see, because there's awards on Award Spring on our database there, but there's some other awards that might not be there that you may be eligible for that might take a little bit of your own research. So please do take a look at that, because money makes the world go round. School's expensive. You got to make sure that, and on top of all of these prestigious opportunities, the funding from the program, that you're also sourcing out other ways to fund your studies. Okay, next slide. Next slide, please. Oh, okay, great. Yes. So, so another funding opportunity that is made available to you, and if you were at yesterday's orientation, this was discussed in a slightly different context, but academic and research assistantships. So to get these opportunities, you go online to the website and the careers website, and you take a look and you apply. These positions are available mostly in the fall and the winter, as they are tied to undergraduate programs, which undergraduate cycle, it's fall and winter full-time courses. So like usually there's not really many opportunities in the spring, summer term. If you were assigned an assistantship with your offer of admission, you could take a look at your offer of admission for that information, and or look at your email and you'll get a notification from the department. And just a friendly reminder that if you see or you hear the acronym TAGA being thrown around, or teaching assistantships and graduate assistantships, the new name is academic assistantships, or AA. And it takes a while for new names to settle, so, and for us to get used to it. So don't get confused. It's referring to the same thing. Next slide. Okay. Yes. So I'm speaking to my domestics here for this one, for OSAP. So specifically Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and protected persons. So just reminder, as a graduate student, you're a full-time student regardless of the number of courses you were taking. So for instance, in the media production program in the spring, summer term, usually there's no courses, and you're just working on your MRP, but you're still considered a full-time student. Okay, so that's just an example to explain what we mean here. And also, the installments are on a 60-40 split, 60% in the fall, 40% in the winter. So it's definitely incumbent on you to budget for the spring, summer term accordingly, because you will not receive funding during that term. But I can be a point person to take some of your preliminary questions, but definitely speak to the Student Financial Assistance Office if you have any in-depth questions about your OSAP, your funding, when is it going to arrive? Oh, this and that, a portion of my application is confusing to me, I need assistance. You definitely want to go to the Student Financial Assistance Office, and by way of the service hub in pod 150. It's a physical space where you go to a kiosk, you type out your information, and a student financial representative will assist you in person, or you can give them a call by way of my service hub contact information that they have there. You can call them, and they have 24/7, like generated messages and stuff like that. So you can maybe get some of your answers 24/7, maybe in the late night. But if you want to speak to a financial advisor, you definitely want to make sure you contact the office directly. One question that we get often is that, like after the dust is settled and students are in courses, they're like, I haven't received my money yet. And then they find out that enrollment hasn't been confirmed. Well, the process of confirming enrollment for the purposes of OSAP is slightly different than it's more, I guess, complex than just being enrolled in your courses. There's different departments involved. And then they have to confirm certain information about the student. And then you have to have all your papers and documents in order and submitted. And then we contact the Ministry of University and Colleges, and then the National Student Loan Office confirms that information. And then when all that is done, that's when the funding is released. Okay. And just also be mindful of how you decided to have the money deposited. So if you said directly to the institution, then for example, in the fall, the 60% will go towards your tuition fees, and whatever difference is there, you can request a refund for. Or if you had it directly, you want to send the money directly to your student account, your personal account, then you want to make sure that you pay those fees, because as Elaine had mentioned, there's various deadlines to pay your fees. And if the OSAP comes to you directly, it's up to you to pay the school. Okay. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you so much for listening. And again, I'm so excited to meet you all on the 27th for the in-person meet and greet.
Great, Tonisha. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And just for everyone, there's been a whole bunch of questions again. We'll be answering those in the chat. And just a quick note, there was a question about the Master Interior Design program, the 2-year program in regards to OSAP. Yes, it has been approved. So if you are in that program, you feel free to apply for OSAP, and you should be able to complete your application, no problems. But again, we'll update the website in a little bit. That was a very recent approval, so we're still catching up with some of those things. That's what happens usually with new programs, but we're all in good shape. Okay. Next on our list of that, Mohammad Khan is our academic coordinator on graduate programs. Mohammad, take it on. Go ahead.
Thanks, Danielle. So hi, everyone. My name is Mohammad. I am the academic coordinator of graduate programs. That pretty much means that come September, I'll be your first point of contact for almost everything. So things like registration, enrollment, scheduling, courses, electives, anything like that. You're more than welcome to drop by and speak to me or send me an email. One thing I do want to mention is come September, I will send each and every one of you a calendar invite for our drop-ins. So the Graduate Studies Office has every Wednesday from 12 to 1 p.m. We have in-person drop-ins at our office on the 3rd floor of the RCC. And then every Friday from 11 to 12, we have virtual drop-ins, and there'll be a Zoom link attached to that. So you're welcome to drop by, ask questions about enrollment or anything like that, or address any concerns you may have, or if you wanted to drop by just to chat, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Also, just to know that even though we have specific times for the drop-ins, you're not excluded from coming to the office at any other time. You're welcome to drop by anytime, as long as it's not at like 10 p.m. at night. You're welcome to drop by during business hours, and someone will be here to chat with you. So enrollment. I know everyone's been wondering about this. I've received quite a few emails regarding it, so I'll make sure to cover that and address all your questions. As a graduate student, you are required to maintain continuous registration in your program. That includes the spring and summer term. So whether you're taking 0 courses or you're taking 5 courses, you're required to maintain continuous registration. Also, whether you're taking 0 courses or 5 courses, you're considered a full-time student. I know Tonisha mentioned this in her session as well. I know at the undergraduate level, you pay per course, and depending on the number of courses you take, you're part-time versus full-time. But in graduate school, you're full-time regardless of the number of courses. The only exception to the continuous registration rule is if you're taking a leave of absence, which essentially freezes your time in the program. You can take a leave of absence for medical or compassionate reasons or for parental reasons. Once you come back from your leave of absence, well, first of all, if you want to initiate a leave of absence, you come and talk to us first. We get the necessary approvals, and then we get that process going for you. And when you're ready to come back, you let us know, and we reinstate you. Taking a leave of absence essentially freezes your time in the program. So the tuition is frozen, your funding is frozen, and when you come back, you pretty much continue from where you left off. Enrollment and course drops are done by the program office. So if you want to enroll in a particular course or drop a course, you let us know. And course selection forms are sent before the start of each term, usually a month before the start of each term, if electives are required. So you all received a course selection form in July to select your electives. And so that process will be repeated for every term moving forward. Also, once you're enrolled in your required courses and your electives, a confirmation of enrollment email is sent out to all of you, so you know you've been enrolled. So a couple of questions have come up. One is a number of you are wondering why you're not enrolled yet, because the deadline to submit your course selection form, if there was a course selection form for your program, was August 10th. The answer to that is we're enrolling each and every one of you manually, and so it takes quite a bit of time. So by next week, early next week, we should have all of you enrolled in your programs. So if you don't see anything on your My Service Hub right now, don't fear. Just give it a few days, and we'll get it updated. Another question that's been coming up in the inbox is regarding course schedules. And I know a number of you are trying to figure out your schedule with like childcare and jobs and things like that. With your course selection form, or actually with your registration and enrollment email, you were all sent a course schedule of the required courses and the electives. If you had no course selection form, then it was an attachment in the email. And if you did have a course selection form, it was embedded in the form itself. And you can use that pretty much to determine what your schedule will look like. You can assume that the required courses are courses in which you will be enrolled, and the electives, for the most part, you will be enrolled in those electives as well. So that's something to take note of. A number of you have also asked about the tentative title on the course schedules. We put that there. You can operate with the assumption that, like with a fairly high degree of certainty, that the schedule you've been sent is going to be the schedule for the fall. We just put the tentative there in case of extenuating circumstances, which don't happen very often, that classes need to change. And if that happens, we will send you an updated course schedule. So for now, just operate with the assumption that that will be the schedule moving forward. For those of you that wanted to take electives outside of your program, so I've received a number of emails saying, hey, is this course available? Can I take this course in this department? With the registration and enrollment email, you were all sent the link for the graduate electives website. So when you go here, you can see exactly which electives are available from each and every program. If you don't see an elective, if there's an elective you want to take and you don't see it there, it means it's not being offered. If you do want to take an elective from that list, just follow the course substitution process, which is also indicated on that page, or reach out to us if you need some assistance with that. For course audits, you're all entitled to audit undergraduate courses if you'd like. Just know that the undergraduate courses do not count towards your program requirements. And there's a course audit form that we've linked here, and you can access that in the slides once they're sent out. Lastly, we have the student resources page. I'm going to actually close the presentation for a second and go here to a sample page for one of our programs. So I'm pulling up the Master's in Professional Communication. All of you would have a page like this or something like this. And what I'll do is when I send the course enrollment confirmations out to all of you, I'll be sure to include the link for the student resources pages, just so you have that. The student resource page also has like information about financing and funding. So Tonisha said, bookmark that for the rest of your life. I would also bookmark this page for the rest of your life because it has almost everything you need. So I'll go through this really quickly. Before I do, I did receive a couple of emails, students asking about a graduate handbook or like a graduate manual for the department. I've worked in a number of departments that have graduate manuals and graduate handbooks. They never seem to work too well because it's like a 70-page document and no student ever really, maybe some students do, but most students, we know don't really go through it just because it's a very daunting document. And what we've done at the Creative School is we've taken the graduate handbook and turned it into something like this, a user-friendly interface with clickable links, and you can easily access exactly what you need off of here. So this is essentially the graduate handbook. So I'll send you the links, and I encourage you to explore the links whenever you have some time. For now, I'm going to focus on the courses and curriculum page and the student resources page. So we'll go to courses and curriculum first. And just note, yeah, this is for ProCom, for the Master's in Personal Communication, but you all have something adjacent to this. So here you'll see the degree requirements. So it'll list out what the required courses are per term and the number of electives required. So you can see exactly what your year is going to look like. There'll be a course list here of all the required courses you're expected to take and the electives. And then over here are course descriptions for all of the courses that the Master's in Personal Communication program offers. You'll see descriptions for the required courses. You will also see descriptions for the electives. Now, note, not all the electives will be available in a particular year, but we've included the descriptions here regardless for you to see. So that's the courses and curriculum page. I did link this in the registration and enrollment email to all of you, but I'll link it again when I send the course enrollment confirmation out. Now, lastly, I'm going to go to the student resources page. So here we have a lot of resources and information presented in a very user-friendly format. So we have the accordion here, which covers, for example, information about the Academic Integrity Office. If you're looking to get the Adobe license or Microsoft access to Microsoft Office, that's here as well. Financing your studies, this is the section Tonisha was talking about, so you can access all the links from here. And then a whole bunch of other resources and units on campus and information regarding those. We'll go down to here. So here, there's a student supervisor discussion checklist. So this is something you would take to your supervisor just to ensure that expectations are set and that you're following through on the deliverables that you had agreed to accomplish. We have the course audit form linked here. We have the course substitution form linked here as well. We also have the leave of absence application linked here. And a number of you ask for a proof of enrollment letter for childcare, for your bank, for whatever it is. And so we've just added this link to all the program pages. So you can click here. It'll take you to a Google form that looks something like this. You can complete that. It comes to the department, and we will draft a course of like a proof of enrollment letter for you. When you have time, I also suggest you explore the YSGPS forms page. This has, I mean, if you want to do something, most things have a form associated to them. So you can find a form for almost everything here. So you can see there's the course audit form, the course substitution form, there's the leave of absence application. I did mention earlier that the leave of absence application, you can use it for parental, for medical or compassionate reasons. This one in particular is for medical and compassionate reasons. For parental, there's another one down here, right here, parental leave for absence, parental leave of absence application. And there are a whole bunch of other forms, and I definitely implore all of you to explore these when you have some time. We'll go back to this. Oh, sorry, actually not yet. There's one other thing I want to show all of you. So most of your programs, if not all, have an MRP component or like a final research component, paper component to your deliverables. So here we have the MRP thesis guidelines. Oh, this one's broken actually. So we'll get that fixed. But most of the program pages, I think, should have it linked to the YSGPS MRP thesis guidelines. And then here we have the MRP template. A quick note about the MRP template, and I will send a note about this a month before your MRPs are due, but I should also just tell you now, if you click it, it'll take you to a Google Doc, and this is not the template we want you to use. We want you to actually download the template into Microsoft Word. Reason being, there are some formatting mechanisms in Microsoft Word that don't cleanly translate to the Google Docs. So make sure that when you go to this template, just download it as a Microsoft Word document and use that. And I believe that is about it. Go back to the slideshow. Yeah, there's nothing else to cover essentially. Yeah, so going back to the enrollment thing, I know a lot of you are wondering what your schedule looks like. I know a lot of you are wondering when you'll be enrolled. It's underway. It'll be done by early next week, fingers crossed. At the very latest, by the time we all see you at the social on Wednesday. So by then, undoubtedly, we'll have everything done, and you'll all have your confirmation emails as well. But yes, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Great. Thank you so much, Mohammad. And there's been lots of good questions in the chat, so I can take a look at those. We are almost an hour in, so I think it was a good time maybe take a short break. And it was in the end up to give you maybe until 2 o'clock, and then we could come back and continue on. There's a whole bunch of more things coming on, and so let's go about 8 to 10 minutes, and we'll see you at 2 o'clock. Thank you very much. See you soon. Okie dokie. Welcome back, everybody. 2 o'clock. Hopefully that was a quick, short break, but it's always needed. So here we are. And so our next step today is internships. And so we have Danielle Taylor, internship coordinator at the Creative School, who's gonna do a short presentation about internships here and placements here at the Creative School. Danielle, floor is all yours.
Great, thank you so much, Danielle. I appreciate that, and I see that the chat is quite active. So if there are any questions that do come up, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll leave it with my diligent colleagues to handle them, but I will be leaving space for question and answer. But again, this is just a high-level overview. I know we've got a lot of different programs that are on the call today. So this is, again, for most of the media programs. Oh, I see some folks with their cameras on. And I'll go ahead and share my screen, and we will just go ahead and get started. So I did not know that the FPPCM program was also on this call. Could you give me a quick rundown of which graduate programs are actually here today? That'd be great.
I believe we actually have all the grad programs here today.
So we have
all
digital
11
media,
sorry.
MDI, fashion as well.
Fashion, journalism, professional communication.
Journalism, MPC.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this internship presentation was catered specifically for those in the media and design unit. So that would be for the MA Digital Media and media production. I understand there's some MFA documentary media folks on the call, as well as the script writing and story design. But MPC folks, I'll actually be visiting you. I'll be at your specialized academic orientation on the 27th of this month. So I'll be talking to you about PC 8004. So a lot of this information is also relevant, but fashion I did not get a chance to touch base with Susan. So again, this information is kind of generic. I did include some course-specific information. Yeah, thanks for letting me know where you guys are from. I appreciate that in the chat. But the ones that have to be followed up are journalism. Again, you're working with Carly, MPC, I'll be meeting with you, and those that are in the FPPCM field placement, that internship actually, sorry, you have an internship first and then a field placement. You'll be talking to Kristen about that. But without further ado, we will touch base on just the doc media. And yes, most of the information does apply to MDM, but I'll specify who it does and doesn't apply to, but there will be a more general graduate internship information overview. So yeah, let's get started. Let's keep going. So yeah, what I wanted to do today was introduce you to the faculty and staff that you would be dealing with. This, again, pertains specifically to the digital media, documentary media, script writing and story design, and media production. Also, for those that are in the PhD, media and design innovation, we've got a few of you on the call, so this information does apply to you as well. That's great. But again, fashion, ProCom, your MPC students, and the FPPCM and journalism, your faculty and staff won't be included in this slide, but we will get to you on another basis. But I'll be overviewing the course requirements and speaking to, on a general basis, all of the graduate level courses and important information that applies to anyone who's thinking about doing an internship during their graduate level or internship or field placement. You'll find that the terms are very interchangeable, but important information regardless of the course that you're in. The faculty internship tracker, I'll take a few minutes to walk you through that. So it's less of a surprise when you do or when you are enrolled in an internship course, but this is an important component of the internship process. I'll explain what it is when we get there, but it's basically our tracker system, how we manage all of the administrative documents and what you'll need in order for those workplace safety insurance forms to get released. I'll give you a few pointers on how to find an internship and some resources that are available here at TMU. And I will open the floor to Q&A. Hopefully I have answered more questions than created queries. But with that, let's get going. So I'll introduce myself. First and foremost, I'm Danielle Taylor. I am the internship coordinator at the Creative School. So I do oversee most of, if not all, of the graduate internship courses and a handful of the undergraduate courses as well. I'm actually a graduate of the MPC program, class of 2015. I graduated from the Master of Professional Communication program and just never left. The Creative School was a great place to be. But having had an internship and gone through the experiential learning process, I can speak firsthand as to what an incredible opportunity it is, especially for those that are in those short-term degrees. So they really do add that extra work experience that you can get through the graduate course offerings. Briefly, James Nadler, he is the graduate program director for the media production. So again, those media and design programs. And currently, this information is subject to change, as I know that Danielle and the rest of the team will be updating course loading, but he generally oversees the MA media production course, which is actually the course that those students in the digital media, documentary media, and script writing story design would be enrolling in. So we'll get into course codes in the next slide and which course that applies to. But for those that are in the media and design innovation class, John Chiga, I'm sure you may have met him or have been introduced to him already. I don't know if you've had a meet and greet with some of the faculty and staff, but he's the program director for the media and design PhD. So if you're enrolling in a field placement for that course, or for that program rather, he will be the course instructor. For those that are, again, in the media production program, I know that Laura Ninich is currently on leave, but she'll be returning in the winter, which is typically when the MA media production course runs. But if you are in the MA media production, you would have to have your course approved by the instructor at the time, which may be Laura or James, again, subject to change. Lorena Escandon, she is the Master or MDM, Master of Digital Media, internship course instructor. So again, your courses or your placements, your internship placement will have to be approved by her if you are in the MDM program. And for those in the script writing and story design program, that'll be Michael Coutange. We'll have to take a look and make sure that your program is relevant for the course, for the program itself. I understand that the documentary media program director, Ted Hibbert, may be involved in the approval process, but again, primarily for those students in the media production, MDM program, script writing and story design, and documentary media. These are the instructors that would be reviewing your programs, either in the faculty internship tracker or, in brief conversation, but via email before you get into the actual course. All right, so what are the course requirements? Again, sticking to those 3 courses that I mentioned, but overall, all graduate internship placements. And the terms you might find are related to the course. They're also called field placement, but any type of work integrated experiential learning has to be relevant to your program of study. So what we don't want you to do is obviously spending time, schlepping coffee as a barista at Starbucks, but must be in a professional environment, consist of the minimum hourly requirements as prescribed by the course. And we'll get to the 3 courses that I zoned in on in the next slide, but all of the course hours will be dictated to you by your course instructor. So you'll have to refer to the actual course syllabus, as sometimes it is subject to change should they decide to make any amendments or improvements. But there must be a certain level of responsibility with the placement and provide a significant educational benefit. We don't recommend any more than 240 hours. That is ultimately the maximum that we would recommend. However, the minimum hourly requirement will vary between 120 hours up to 150 if you're in the NPC course. But again, it will vary by your per program. Ideally, the internship should be with one organization for the duration of the term, whether you're enrolled in the fall, winter, or spring, summer term. But split internships can be considered, again, with the approval of your program director. Typically, students do work 6 to 8 weeks full-time, or, which is more common for graduate students, 10 to 12 weeks part-time. But anything additional is entirely up to you and your employer. But as I mentioned, it's the program director's sole discretion to determine if your internship meets the course requirements. So for those that will be enrolling in the NP 8901 course, which is again the MA Media Production Internship, and that also houses the MFA Documentary Media students, as well as the MFA Script Writing and Story Design. This particular course does have a 240-hour requirement, and it does include weekly logs. This was administered by Laura Ninich, and as I mentioned, this may be subject to change. As I understand, there might be some revisions to the hourly requirements, but as it stands, as of today, August 19th, 240 hours is the minimum. There is a final essay to submit, but there is also an employer evaluation for your supervisor and a student reflection. These are actually questionnaires that are automatically sent out by our faculty internship tracker or FIT system, and you'll receive that on the last day of your internship, whatever it is you're in the system. And again, I'll give you a walkthrough on what that looks like really briefly. It is a pass-fail grade, so if you complete the hours, submit all of your documents, and submit all of your course assignments before the final class deadline, you will receive that pass on your transcript. It's very similar for the PhD in Media and Design Innovation, as well as the MDM programs, the MA in Digital Media. The hours are slightly less, 140 hours for the MDM students and 120 for the PhD MDI students, but you'll both have to complete an employer evaluation. I think the biggest difference is that the MDM internship does not include any additional paperwork in terms of course assignments, sorry, not paperwork, a lot of paperwork to hand in, but no additional course assignments or weekly logs. However, for the PhD in Media Design Innovation, there are 2 brief email reports to submit to John, as well as a final report at the end of your internship. But again, all internship courses or field placement courses are pass-fail. Right. So what you can expect, internships can be remote or in person. Virtual internships, oh, hi, Ryan. Virtual internships are totally permissible. They're paid, unpaid, or stipend honorarium based. But I have to emphasize that anything that is less than minimum wage is considered stipend honorarium based. And for that reason, I guess for insurance purposes, it does need to be attached specifically to an internship course. And that we'll get into why and then what that kind of translates to. But if your internship is unpaid or stipend honorarium based, it absolutely has to be for academic credit. Now, if you get a paid internship, and that's something above minimum wage, basically you sought employment and your employer is responsible for that workplace insurance. So you don't necessarily need to, with a paid internship, you can treat it like a part-time job and the university doesn't need to get involved. But again, if it's relevant to your course and to your program, I would recommend utilizing that as an academic course credit and enrolling in the field placement or the relevant internship course. You can expect some administrative tasks, but we do expect the placement to be relevant for the graduate level program that you're in. So again, it has to be approved by your program director. All right, so again, that important information, you have to be enrolled in an internship course to do an unpaid or stipend honorarium work placement, because completing an unpaid internship without that course credit, it's actually against provincial legislation. And it puts not only you, but the university and your employer at risk. Well, it doesn't put the university at risk because, you know, you're not attached to a course, then we cannot help, you're not involved. But please, we encourage you and urge you, if you are seeking out or if you found yourself an unpaid role that, you know, would be of some benefit, whether that be professional networking or, you know, academic enhancement, speak to your program administrators and get yourself enrolled in an internship course. But you are financially and academically responsible for any enrollment. So if you do decide to drop the course or no longer pursue the field placement, it is your responsibility to drop that course in adherence with the course-related policies and procedures. I will be sharing these slides with Danielle and the team. So all of this important information is hyperlinked. But now, feel free to type your question in the chat. We will have space for Q&A, so I'll try and remember your hand raised, but I want to get through the info, and then we can open the floor for questions. Quick note for international students. So anyone who is here on a student visa, all international students must confirm whether they require a co-op work permit in addition to the student visa that you already have to be here at TMU with the Yates School of Graduate Studies. So the designated international student support advisor for Yates School of Graduate students is Ezekiel Roos-Walker. And you just need to send him a quick email, and he'll let you know whether or not, you know, if it's a mandatory placement, for example, for pro-com or journalism, or depending on the terms and conditions of your student visa. I am not a legal, you know, immigration officer. I do not have the answers. Any questions in regards to this, I'm just going to defer you to Ezekiel, because you may require a co-op work permit, and it just takes time in order to process. So think of this: if you're planning on doing an internship this fall and you are an international student, please reach out to Ezekiel, because it can take anywhere from 60 to 90 days to acquire this additional co-op work permit. And that's if you even need one. So you may not, it all depends. So again, just important information to note. Their email is going to be hyperlinked in the slides, but you can feel free to visit the International Student Support website. I think I'll drop that in the chat. Hopefully I can get that for you. For anybody who needs that information, Ezekiel's info is there. I think I got that in the chat there. I think, yeah, there we go. All right. So what else did we want to know? Continuing on. Yeah, finding an internship. Great students always ask, how do I get an internship? Where do I find them? Well, the D2L organization, again, there is a specific one for each course. Journalism students, you do have an internship information one specific for journalism students as well. And pro-com students in the MPC information organization, there is a section for internships that Yukari and I are working on updating. But this is where you will find all of the job postings relevant to media, design, communication, journalism, again, specifically because we have a lot of CBC-specific editorial roles that are shared there. There's a lot of FAQs that are answered. Again, I'll be posting these slides. I'll be hosting another graduate internship info session for those who, you know, may be well into the program and may have missed some information. And all of the recordings and, you know, slideshow information, or slide decks rather, can be found there. So again, this is for the media and design units. Again, the MDM program, the media production program, the documentary media, and the script writing and story design, you all have access to this. Unfortunately, fashion, you'll have to touch base with Susan. I don't actually have a D2L organization for you. But again, Procom, you've got one. Kristen's got you covered. FPPCM students and journalism, Carly and I are all over it. So this is where your primary, source for internship job postings and information. But utilize your own networks. If you've had jobs previously, a lot of you are coming from professional backgrounds, previous volunteer or work positions, your family, friends. I know that Danielle and the rest of the team will share opportunities as they become available, and the professional connections you make along the way, networking, doing your research, and what have you. So, there are tools and resources available to you through the Career and Co-op Center on how to network and brand yourself. I do want to introduce you to Jennifer Bradley. She is the career education specialist for the Creative School. So all programs, graduate and undergraduate, fall under her umbrella. She's also an alumni of the Creative School, formerly FCAD, Faculty of Communication and Design. But that she is your, go-to person. If you need one-on-one coaching, support, there are a number of online tools and asynchronous resources. I actually love the Career and Co-op Center. They actually have, the cover letter or virtual resume review. If you don't have time, lots of reading and following up to do, you can actually just drop your resume into a Google form Dropbox. And any one of the advisors, whether it's Jennifer or someone else on their team, will provide you with notes and feedbacks and specific to what it is you're seeking, whether it be a graduate level, internship, or a career post-graduation. So again, all of these resources are hyperlinked in the slides, so you can absolutely find more information on how to, help yourself find an internship. But between the partnerships that we have, and we will continue to post on D2L, your own personal networks, and the resources available and jobs that are shared by the Career and Co-op Center, there are no shortages of opportunities available to students. All right, so really quickly, I'll walk through, I'll take 2 minutes to walk through the Faculty Internship Tracker, which is a software that was developed by staff here at the Creative School, that a majority, if not all of the programs that have an internship course are using to register and track the internships. So this is where you'll get your legal documents. You'll have to register your placement after you've had a discussion, or this is where they will officially approve it in order for you to release the documents. And this is, as I mentioned, at the end of your internship, where the employer evaluation and student reflection will be automatically emailed to the addresses that you register at the onset. So before you even start your internship, if you plan on doing a field placement, this is something that you can get out of the way, but it is one of the required documents that you'll need to upload as one of the legal forms. It'll be your certificate of completion for the environmental health and safety awareness. Try and say that 6 times fast. So anyone who's doing an external placement, this is a requirement by facilities, TMU Facilities Services. But essentially it is a 30 to 45-minute module. You'll have to watch a few videos, a little bit of WMIS training, but again, it is a requirement for anybody who's going to be off campus and completing work for external placements. You'll need to download the PDF copy of the certificate of completion. It has a date stamp and a signature from FMD. So I don't need a screenshot of the badge of completion, but this is what the course module looks like on your D2L right now. If you're on your computer, you should be able to view it, because if you've been matriculated into the graduate program, all graduate students have access to this. And even if you're doing an internship with a person, mostly remotely, you do need this EHS awareness module to be complete. Great question, Erin. Thank you very much. But yes, remote, in person, this needs to be done. So once you've done that module at any point, once you've found your internship placement, you're searching, applying through your own networks, through the Career Center. Once you've accepted an offer, you need to put it into the Faculty Internship Tracker. So at some point before you enter it into the tracker, try and touch base with your program director. But ultimately, they will get an email, and I will also get an email, that you've registered your internship, and we'll go in and approve it, whether it's been discussed or we'll follow up to discuss. So once your internship has been approved, you will receive the documents that you need to complete, sign, and upload before your placement can begin. And this is especially important, crucial for those who are on unpaid and stipend honorarium-based internships. we need those WSIB forms on file. In the unlikely event that, a light fixture falls on your head, we want to make sure we know who we're going to be calling to make that claim. And even if you're working remotely, if you stub your toe at home, that's technically your work environment. So we do need those WSIB forms to be on file before you can officially start. And, before we officially start tracking your internship hours. Complete all of the safety check-ins. You will actually get emails from FIT every 30 days, just to make sure you're okay. Because a lot of students, they go off, especially in the summertime. It's the only course they have they're enrolled in. And we lose track of them. So you'll get an email from FIT just checking to say, hey, are you okay? You're experiencing any issues? But don't wait for the survey. Don't wait for the safety check-in. Please don't hesitate to contact me or your course instructor in the event of any issues. You'll need to complete all the minimum hourly requirements and all the course assignments before the end of the term, and have fun. That's all you'll need to complete the internships. Last but not least, just what you can expect in terms of the legal documents. Everybody will be required to sign off on a letter to employers. That's something we provide to you. And again, a student waiver, that's a document. Again, you will only the students need to sign off. The agreement is something that we hope that you print or review with your supervisor to indicate hours and your own schedule and the tasks that you've discussed. That's something that you and your employer will need to sign off on. But if your internship is unpaid or stipend honorarium based, you'll have 2 WSIB forms to sign off on, one for yourself and one for your employer. And if it's paid, again, we'll need confirmation of WSIB coverage or alternate insurance. If your employer, is WSIB exempt, they'll have the appropriate documents to show that, hey, you are insured. All right, so it's just under 25 minutes, just under 20 minutes. I will open the floor to Q&A. I did see a question that came in. Thanks for jumping in there, Daniel. But how can you access the D2L internship website? And may I ask which course you're enrolled in, Simone? You can drop it in the chat or let me know. You're in the MDM program. So Simone, you should actually have access to the D2L organization already. I don't know if you're in front of your computer. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. But if you actually, where all your courses and organizations are, if you click, you might need to click on View All Courses. And it should show you all of those sort of mandatory modules and trainings that you may not have paid attention to. But again, if you are enrolled, I don't know, have all students been matriculated as yet, Daniel, Marnie?
Things still in process, so some of them may still be matriculated. That's why. So
Okay.
Maybe the end of this week, hopefully, but it's little by little we're going through them.
Yeah, and again, as long as you are enrolled in the program, which I'm sure Daniel will make sure that you are, if you're on this call, that means you will be enrolled in a program, you will see that pop up, the D2L organization. Just look for something that says internships information, and that'll be there. So I did see a hand. Huda, I don't know if the question was answered, but feel free to raise your hand. I do see some things coming in the chat. Shauna wants to know, I completed an internship in college where you learned about an application process that allows the government to cover the cost of the internship and the students' costs for a specific program. Does something like this exist? So in terms of funding, it would be up to the employer to apply for that government funding. We do have, through the Career and Co-op Center, we have close ties to the Student Work Placement Program, which is, again, a subsidy that employees can apply for, but they would have to sort of fork up 70% of that funding. And then again, through the SWIP program, they could get that funding. But it's not something that the department, like the faculty, the dean's office, or the school for that matter, applies to on behalf of each individual department. Ultimately, because internships can be paid, unpaid, or stipend honorarium based. I know that there is an active summer jobs program, for those that are thinking of doing their internship during the summer months. But I hope that helps answer your question, Shauna. But in short, no, there isn't something like this here at TMU. But you would have to speak to your employer if you are in an unpaid internship or you find an unpaid opportunity, and see if they would be willing to, apply for that subsidy funding. All right. How would you distinguish, I see a question from Aaron, between an internship and a directed study? The work is to work with a person on a research project. Could it potentially fall under either category? And I think that would be a discussion for your program advisor, because directed study is very course specific. Like this is real internship placements. Yeah, well, I think it might be more advantageous. That's a question for Daniel. Glad he's on this call, because that's a huge distinction. And I know that, yeah, research directed study is very different than field placement internship. So Daniel?
Yeah, I can jump in if that's okay. Yeah, they're completely different things. So you cannot do one or the other. So an internship, think of it, you're actually working in a placement, working with a person, with a supervisor, and it's kind of the job already exists. A directed study is more of a you're basically creating a course with a supervisor, and then you have assignments, you have readings, you have a bibliography, all those different things. So they're completely separate things. Like direct study, think of it is basically like having a very specific course on a particular research area with a supervisor. Because maybe your research, your MRP, we don't have a course specifically for that area, but you met with one of the instructors and they're really, really good at that particular area, so they can guide you to create a course, and that's a directed study. So completely separate things. So you in the example, Aaron, you will have to choose. It sounds more like an internship because you're already working with someone to help them with the research or to help them with their curation or whatever the project is. So that's more of a internship or placement rather than a direct study. Cool. Hopefully that helped. Yeah.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. So I'm going to take Ushna's question because she's had her hand up waiting patiently, but I did see a few more in the chat. Go ahead, Ushna, if you wanted to unmute or.
Hello. I wanted to ask if like this internship you're talking, is this field placement? Like, you know, the course field placement?
Correct. May I ask which program you're in?
I'm in digital media.
MDM. So yeah, that would be the MDM field placement. Correct. Yes. The terms are used interchangeably for the courses, but yes, internship, field placement, that is the course that you'd be looking at, that you'd be enrolling in, the DG 8113.
All right. And field placement, that's a course for every semester, right? It's going to be available in winter and summer?
That's a Daniel question. I'm not sure when it's offered.
At the top of my head,
I was going to say,
yes, it
I
is.
can jump into
Oh,
Danielle
thank
if
you,
you
Emily.
need. Hi, Ishna.
Emily, hi.
Yes, hello. It's offered in every semester. It's just dependent on whether or not you secure a placement. But it is offered as an elective every semester.
All right. Thank you.
And I did see. Oh, go ahead. Keep going, Ishna.
Sorry, just the finding the placement, that's something that's a little like, you know, is there any help that the program can provide in, like, you know, getting an internship, or is that like solely on the student?
In the case of MDM, it's solely on the student because it's not a required part of programming. It's an optional elective course.
All right, makes sense. Thank you.
And yeah, on that note, for all internship courses, whether it be graduate or undergraduate, students are ultimately responsible for sourcing and securing their own internship placements. That being said, part of my job is to maintain relations with our past partners and employers. So again, in that D2L organization, I am constantly posting opportunities that are relevant to, you know, a lot of documentary media, digital media, design from our partners that have hosted interns in the past. And also the Career and Co-op Center, they have a completely separate job board and tools to help you, you know, sort of find an internship. So no, it's not in the sense that, okay, you sign up for the course and here's your internship, Ushna. That's not how it works. However, you know, you'll have access and you'll be able to see all of these placements on a rolling basis. And, you know, if you see somewhere that you like, you know, it doesn't have to be a formal internship, but if you know, find a small company that could use the support, you can talk to your program director and make it into an elective or a course, an internship placement. That works too. So I hope that helps. Sorry.
Right, definitely. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. And yeah, just to that point, or to that to your point, I saw a question in the chat about whether or not these are electives. Again, it does depend on your program. For the NPC Master of Professional Communication, it is a program requirement, as is for the journalism degree. and the FPPCM program as well. Those are mandatory internships. But for those of you, everybody else, it is an elective course credit. So you can choose to enroll, speak to your program director if you happen to find a placement, or if you see something that's being advertised that you'd like to take advantage of, and we'll make sure that you get enrolled in the course, the appropriate course. All right. I don't know if there were any other questions, but again, I will be sharing these slides with the program admin team. And I will also be hosting a more fulsome internship and overview for all graduate programs. That way we can get it in one shot. And again, for those students who may be in their first or second year who may have missed this information at the onset. So if there aren't any further questions, I want to thank you all so much for your questions, for your attention, and yeah, for having me here today. Thank you so much, Daniel, for the invite, and happy orientation. I'm sure there's a lot more information to cover. Thanks, Daniel.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
It's great to
Ryan.
have you. Thank you for all the
Take care.
information. All right, everyone. Great. So I got lots of information and a little more to come. So now next we have Marnie Gilbert. She's our Finance and Administration Coordinator here at the Creative School. Marnie, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Daniel. So most of the work that I do is actually behind the scenes, working on areas such as scheduling, contracts, and payment, budget, those type of areas. So I'm just going to go over the areas where I most often touch in with students. And I'll be jumping around a little bit because they're not necessarily connected. So if we can move to the first slide, the first one of those is the plan of study and progress review. So these are two forms, both of which are requirements for all graduate students at the university. And they're really simple forms. Both of them will be sent to you via email, and they're formatted as Google Forms. So all that you need to do is click on the link, complete these short forms, and submit them. I went over them in detail in one of our onboarding sessions, course and schedule information. So when you are able to click on the hyperlinks for this slide presentation, there's a link to the onboarding session where if you scroll to the very end, that's where we look at these forms. But honestly, they take 5-10 minutes to complete. They're not complicated forms. So the plan of study is one that you complete at the start of the program, and you complete it once. And it really is the opportunity just to review all of the program requirements, so curricular requirements as well as non-curricular milestones, and also the chance to look at the streaming options for your program and a chance to choose some electives, although the electives you choose in this form are not binding. It's not a enrollment form. It's just kind of showing which areas you're interested in terms of the electives. So as I mentioned, you submit this form through Google Form. As soon as you submit it, you receive a response that shows all of your answers. Your answers are then reviewed by the program director, and you will in the end receive a PDF copy, but that usually takes a little while because the program directors have to receive and review all of the forms for their program. So that's a plan of study. The progress review is kind of a follow-up form. So the plan of study comes to you once in the fall term, and the progress review comes to you annually in the winter term. And it's a chance to kind of update the information. So to indicate where you are in your process, what your immediate short-term goals are, to provide an update kind of where you feel you're at, ask any questions of either your supervisor or your program director, and also provide feedback to the program. So that form is a bit longer than the plan of study, but not very much. And again, is like a 10 to 15-minute timeline for completion. And you will, same process, it's a Google form, you submit it, you receive an immediate response with all of your answers. And then a little while later, you'll receive a PDF copy for your records. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so like I said, I'm jumping around a bit. So another area that I help with is events. So the Graduate Studies Department, we run our own events. The programs run events. But in addition to that, the Yates School has an event calendar and also student engagement programming. So I've provided the link to both of those sites. And then also TMU hosts a number of events that are open to all students, and some pretty amazing guest speakers come to the university. So I've included the link to the TMU calendar, and then also the links for our specific faculty. So there's a link for the Creative School News and a link for the Creative School event calendar. I think if you go to the Creative School event calendar right now, the latest event was the Doc Now Festival, which is the documentary film festival for our doc media program. So you can review, that just ended, but you can check out the website and the events that happened this year at the Doc Now Festival. And then the last link is actually for an art gallery that's run by TMU, but is in the 401 Richmond building. So that's kind of like an art and cultural hub in the city if you've never been there. And TMU has a small gallery space in the basement of that building. And right now our MDI PhD program is the exhibit is actually an open studio. So 6 of our PhD students are currently working there live collaboratively on their projects, which will then be exhibited early fall and for Nuit Blanche. So yeah, you can drop by anytime. If you follow that link, it'll show you the hours the gallery is open. And then the last thing I just wanted to mention is if you have an event idea. So if you would like to host a kind of social event for your program, a study session, a community engagement event, you can reach out to your program director directly or reach out to our offices, and we can provide you the information of how to reserve space or what funding options are available. We have hosted, I know one of the programs did like a paint night. So all of I think it was their first year students got together. They had an artist come in and she guided them through kind of a Bob Ross type painting session. So there's an example of an event that was student-led, but we helped them organize. Okay, next slide. So just talking about events and jumping to bigger initiatives. One of the best sources of funding, if you have a really great idea for a student-led initiative, is the Student Initiative Fund. So they provide seed funding for student-led nonprofit initiatives, and you can actually secure up to $9,500 in funding for a new initiative or $4,500 for an established initiative. And in addition to this, there's actually Black Initiative Fund, which provides add-on funding that aims to support TMU's Black students with creative initiatives that specifically support and center Black students. And the BIF fund can kind of top up the funding for an additional, up to additional $5,000. So on this slide, I've kind of included the areas that this funding is focused on. So improving community engagement, creating meaningful dialogue on campus, and contributing to building a diverse and innovative campus culture. So past SIF fund initiatives that I've seen come through include student groups. We've had students who launched their films on campus, different events. Even in the undergraduate level, there's magazines. So all types of initiatives have been started through SIF. So if you have an idea and are looking to secure some funding, this is a great source. Next slide, please. And here is the links to the website. So again, when the slides are posted, you can visit their website, or they actually have an e-learning module that guides you through the application process. And I've just provided the application dates. There's 2 application periods, one in the fall and one in the winter. Okay, my last slide, I think is the next one. Yes, so this is just more of the operational technical information. So if you are running a small event, or if you receive SIF funding, the process to receive a reimbursement for an approved expense is really the same. And we actually, in our office, try to help as best as we can to minimize student spending for events and stuff. So please, if you're hosting like a study session and your program director has approved a small amount of funding for snacks or this type of thing, reach out to your program email address, and we can jump in and see if we can purchase those for you, so you don't have to spend your own money. And we can take it to the event, or sometimes we order online, that type of thing, so we can go through the options for you. But if you do end up in a situation where you need a reimbursement, this kind of goes over what is required. So you'll need to provide a receipt, either in hard copy or an emailed clear image. You'll need to provide your current mailing address, because the reimbursement process is still done by a mailed check. You'll need to provide a description of the item, and at some point in the process, you'll need to provide written approval from the either the program or SIF, so we know that there's a budget, a university budget that has been approved to cover the expense. So although for the graduate study students in the creative school, all of the reimbursements go through our office, they're actually processed centrally at TMU Financial Services. So I've just provided the link to their website. It's the payment services team that processes these. And I should just say that that's a team of 4 individuals to process all payments for the whole university. So they are 4 very busy individuals. And because they're such a small group and doing such a large job, the processing time they indicate is up to 15 business days. That's to receive your check in the mail from the time you've submitted it. But financial services, anytime I submit a student request for reimbursement, I indicate that it's an urgent request, and financial services always prioritizes student requests. So that's it for me. So I'll pass it back to Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you, Marnie. Thank you for that. Again, lots of information. Again, if you are interested in have any ideas or thoughts for groups or events or things like that, please reach out to us. Again, we have some limited budget, but we always try to help and make sure that you guys have the ability to connect. And there's a really big push right now to make sure that all you as graduate students from different programs connect together and do things like that. And the SIF fund that Marnie mentioned is a great initiative for that kind of stuff. So think about it and reach out to us if you have any questions.
Danielle,
Great.
before we
Yep.
jump to Emily, can I just mention one other thing I forgot?
Okay.
So this Thursday from 12 to 1, I believe, is our next onboarding session, and it's actually with the Graduate Student Union. So that organization does have some other funding options, mostly for travel and professional development. So those are available on the Student Union website, but also I'm sure they'll go over them in the upcoming session this Thursday at 12 o'clock. Thanks, Daniel.
Of course. And I'm gonna put the website on the chat in a second, so you guys have it. Take a look, but yeah, because this is really good options for you guys, and again, good ways to connect with other graduate students. Yes, so next we have Emily Hall, graduate program administrator for the Master of Digital program. Emily, go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Hi, everybody. MGM students, I'm sure you're sick of me at this point, but too bad. You're going to see me again a bunch next week. I know MGM students, we've already had our sort of virtual orientation, but I'm glad to see so many of you. I work with this amazing team on a daily basis to make sure that you're all taken care of. And so I won't reiterate any information that's already been shared. These guys did an amazing job. But Mohammad, if you flip to the next slide, I just wanted to flag a few things that even if you're not in the MGM program, or if you are in the MGM program and you're curious about it, or you want to get involved somehow with activities, you are always able to contact me at the digitalmedia@torontomu.ca email. In addition to things like fees and scheduling, all those other things, I'm also the go-to person for if you need access to laboratories or if you're curious about laboratory offerings. So if you're interested in checking out the co-laboratory, the EDC, DME, or DTL, I'm your girl to get set up with that. If you're interested in any of the digital media resources, such as the Red Bull Gaming Hub or the Catalyst, that we've already had some chats with, or even if you just want to stop by the MDM office in the RCC building, I'm your girl. And then another thing I wanted to flag quickly before I pass it back for open discussion is that in addition to helping you guys with enrollment, scheduling, admissions, all those kind of things, I also help the MDM group put on community events like potlucks or workshops, game and movie nights, all sorts of activities, and we open those activities up to all graduate students. So hopefully I'll be seeing a bunch of you in some other events. MDM students, I just want to say a quick reminder that I'll be seeing you next week for some in-person orientation activities. We'll be sending out the details on specific timing and activities later this week. And then any non-MDM students, please stay tuned for our first movie night and September 2025 workshop. We'll be sending out an event for you guys, an event invite within the coming weeks. Yeah, that was all I had for you guys because I've met most of you here, but in case you are curious or ever want to get in touch, you know how to reach me. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Emily. Great. So this is sort of the end of our prepared presentation. And so now we always leave a little space at the end for questions, answers, discussions. So anything that comes to mind, this would be a perfect time to ask it. So feel free to go and add it to the chat, or if you want to raise your hand and unmute, that's fine too. So yeah, go ahead. And I'll read the questions out and redistribute who should answer, I guess. Here we go. First one, could you give us more information on AA positions for grad students? Are they in the same category as Career Boost postings, and do they need Career Boost approval? And so when and how can we apply for Career Boost? It's all a bit confusing. Yes, it is all a bit confusing. Let me start with the AA or academic assistant positions. So within academic assistant positions, there are different types of positions. Some of them are assigned by the program to students based on their admissions package. Basically, they come with, when you get your offer of admission, you'll say, hey, as part of your funding, you're gonna get this scholarship, or you're also gonna get an academic assistant position. If you receive that in your letter or maybe via email from the program, just wait for the program to reach out to you to let you know exactly what the position is, who the instructor is, the time, the semester, all those different things. So we'll, in a sense, we'll sort of handle that side of things, and we'll let you know which one you are. That's one type of academic assistant position. The other type are the ones that are publicly posted. So these ones are pretty much anywhere in the university. It could be from our faculty, it could be outside of the faculty, it could be in engineering, it could be in, I don't know, nursing. And basically, depending on what your background is, depending what your previous education is, if you have meet the requirements for the posting, if you meet the requirements for what they're looking for, or you've taken a course similar to what they're looking for, you are welcome to apply directly. Now, these ones are usually, they're not managed by us. These are managed directly by the teaching department. So regularly speaking, we're talking about undergraduate departments, or undergraduate programs or schools that post looking for assistantships for some other courses. These ones are the ones that are posted on the careers website. Now, that being said, so the careers website is split into multiple sections or multiple areas, I guess. So when you look at the career, when you go to torontomu.ca/careers, and you look under the students section, you're gonna see things like Career Boost. You're gonna see academic assistantships, research assistantships, as well as other, paid opportunities on campus. Now, each of those are separate. And there are different types of things. So in other words, a career boost position is completely different than an academic assistant position. Generally speaking, the difference is when you're an academic assistant, you are working specifically with something to do with a course. So you are helping an instructor or a professor grade their assignments, or sometimes you're attending class and helping the students with a particular portion of the course. Sometimes you're just there for support if it's more of a lab type of class. But it's all related to academics, to a particular course or a particular instructor. Those are academic assistant positions. Career Boost positions, on the other hand, Career Boost is a program that is partly funded by the government, partly by the university. And basically, the university staff or schools or departments get to apply for these positions. And these positions can be pretty much anything that is not academic. So for example, here at the career school in our team, we usually hire someone as a communications assistant who helps us with the website design, helps us with social media, helps us with archiving and creating an archive of the MRPs and thesis submissions. So it's a more of a administrative, a little more creative type of position. There's also positions in the equipment distribution center, for example. So the students that provide equipment, when you go in and pick up equipment, so there's usually students that are hired to be able to provide that equipment to you, or maybe in different labs across campus. So those are Career Boost positions. For those ones, Career Boost, you do need to have approval there's an application online, and we can put the links in the chat in a second. But those ones require approval just to make sure that you are a full-time student and that you're enrolled in the program, those kinds of things, and that you're eligible for the funding. So those are Career Boost positions. You also might see research assistant positions. Now, research assistant positions are also usually working with an instructor or a department, but they're not always necessarily working in a particular course, like academic assistant positions. They're more usually on a project or a research project or a particular area of research. That sometimes instructors or faculty members get grants, and so they need to hire someone to help them out. So they usually hire a research assistant for that role. Sometimes it's like, for example, the Catalyst, our research center downstairs, they usually hire a research assistant in there to help them out with to support the research of faculty members that are working there. Sometimes it's student support, sometimes it's for the events that they have. So it's a variety of different areas again, but these are usually sponsored by some sort of grant or a particular research area in the university. And again, those are also posted online, so you can just go, and if you meet the requirements, you apply, and hopefully you show off nice in your interview and get the position, and then off you go. So those are the most, I guess, the most common, paid positions that are posted on the website. And so hopefully, Kareem, that clears up the question that you posted in there. If not, let me know, and then we can talk a little bit more. Just one note I want to add, actually, if you are looking for those academic assistance positions, which on the website still says graduate assistant or teaching assistant, but again, same thing. You're also going to see things like lab monitors and exam invigilators. So they're all within the same sort of category because they're working with a class. But when you click on that, you can actually go in the website, and you'll be able to sign up for a job search agent, what they call it. This is basically just a notification system. So every time there's a new AA position, you'll get I think it's weekly or every 3 days or something like that. You'll get a notification via email, and then hey, there's a new AA position. Am I eligible for it? Great. And then you can just quickly go and apply. So take a look at that. It's a good way of making sure that you don't miss any good opportunities, because the system will automatically notify you. And I'm gonna put that link on the chat right now, so you have it. Positions. You will also need to create a profile to apply. So this is basically just entering your information, your name, that kind of thing. But you can start doing that now if you like. And that link I just posted on the chat there. There we go. Great. So I see someone mentioned, are there any online social groups specifically for fashion MA students to connect with? And I can see people are responding. That's great. So usually a lot of the groups within programs and stuff like that are usually started and managed by you guys as the students. And so yeah, so reach out to each other on chat, stuff like that. If you have a particular, if you want to start something like that, reach out to the program email, and we can maybe send a quick note to everybody to see if anyone wants to participate, and we can do that for you. But yeah, so Instagram, or I think WhatsApp groups in other cases. Discord has been used in some programs. Again, depending what it is, you can you're welcome to start those groups. Am I missing any questions here? I don't think I'm missing anything. Wow, so I added a lot of information. Everybody's tired, or we cleared every single question and we don't have to worry about any more emails coming in, correct? I love the silence. That's great. All right, guys. Well, if there's no more questions, we can end it here since it's 3 o'clock. But thank you very much for everything. Again, thank you very much for coming and joining us, and we're looking forward to see you. We do have that in-person event on the August 27th. I'm going to go to the next slide. Almost there. Here we go. Here's the excitement. Here it comes. Really slowly. Anyway, August 27th, we'll see you in person, 2 to 5 o'clock at the Catalyst here in the Reverse Communication Center, which is 80 Gould Street. So please join us. It's a great opportunity for you to meet each other, collaborate with other students, get to know who it is. It's a very informal event. We'll have some food, maybe some games, play some music, hang out with you guys, and then just make sure that you can get to know each other. And so when you start classes next week, you already know everybody, or at least some people in your program. So anyway, thank you very much, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and
Bye.
look forward to see you next week.
Bye.